This is the story of how I completely lost trust in humanity. How is it going, YouTube? I'm sorry if I haven't been alive for 2 weeks or more. Anyway, today story is about middle school. I already talked about this period. It was us, and it's one of the bad experiences, obviously. So let's get right into it. In the meantime, yeah, you noticed I built a little bit more of the castle. I think I'm going to be done with the exterior before Christmas, and I'll start like during Christmas to build the interior, to farm for the materials, especially because it takes a lot. So in the meantime, I'm just taking a stroll around the world. My story takes place in middle school, but it starts in kindergarten. I was around 4, maybe. The first day ever, I actually remember it, kind of. I have like one image of me entering into the classroom. I was crying because I didn't want to go there, I wanted my mom and stuff like this. You know, the usual. I remember this kid, after I cried for, I don't know, 20 minutes, this kid came up to me and tried to help me feel better, and it worked. We became friends that day, and he introduced me to this one other friend of his, and we became friends. A trio, if you want. I didn't know, but those people were going to be my friends for years. The first kid that helped me is going to be called Achille or Achilles, but I use my pronouns Achille. And the other guy will be called Spruce. So yeah, Achille and Spruce. We were great friends. I have good memories about that kindergarten. We decided to go to the same elementary school. We made all of the friends and stuff like that. So my friendship with these guys was great. We were a great trio, and I always wanted to play with them, especially with Achille, because Achille was a cool guy, I guess. He was also a little bit egoistical, and he always wanted to be like the best, the strongest one when we were playing games. I don't remember the first time that I went to his house, but he was like kinda rich, and he lived in a big, in a cool house. Whenever I went there, it was so much fun because there was a lot of space. He had a lot of toys and video games, which I had, but only my brother, I couldn't play with them. He had Skylanders, which I loved to death, but I couldn't play because I never had like the game. Only some Skylanders, just because I really liked their design. They were fucking killer designs. We played with his dogs, stuff like that. Sometimes we used to, poke each other, insult, joking. But the point is, it wasn't me, it was him, because I didn't behave like that early in the days. I didn't care, I mean, I felt it was cool and funny, but at the times I was stupid. I was blind, most importantly. Now, everything seems normal up to this point, but let me introduce you to the first inconvenience. There was this girl in our elementary school that was kinda quirky. Not really though. I never thought she was weird or stuff like that, but Achille thought she was, and he always made fun of her for the smallest things. It was almost bullying. Oh, what the hell is that? Man, every time I enter into this server there's something new. It's like a Japanese inspired house or tower, I guess. That's cool. Well, anyway, he used to make fun of her, and I would go along with it. Not because I thought he was right about the things he made fun of, but because I didn't want to be like left alone, like apart. So I also said something to her in a light way because I really didn't want to, and this made me feel pretty bad for her, especially when I discovered that she had a really, really bad disease. I hope to be wrong, but I don't really remember if this is the right one, but she probably had tuberculosis, which is horrible. and I don't know if she's still alive. I really hope she is, because one day I want to meet her and say how sorry I am because of that stupid fucking kid. This is the first big thing. Now, it wasn't just her though. Basically every girl was a target, and I remember one girl cut her hair short, which was unusual because no one has ever had this kind of hair. They were also curly. I thought they were pretty cool. He used to call her like hate his haircut, which was apparently an insult. One day she started to cry. It was bad. I'm sorry. You can start to see a pattern here, like, okay, he is kind of a bully. But now let's get to the fun part, because now middle school is coming. Me and Achille were going to the same school with 2 other guys, but Spruce, which I didn't even mention up to this point, wasn't, and it was a huge hit for the trio. At that point we stopped being a trio because it couldn't work. Still meet up a little bit with Spruce. We got into middle school, and I mentioned this before in one of the previous videos, that the first day Achille and the 2 other guys from elementary school sat next to each other, while I was alone at the center of the class with a random dude. Yeah, I felt a little bit left alone, betrayed. Everything changes in middle school, literally everything. His behavior with me also changed. He became a little bit distant. Like I don't remember going to his house once during middle school, because we didn't really talk. Second year, nothing really happened, except that we still barely talked. And now third year, it was around COVID. COVID outbreak was February or March, I'm not sure. Anyway, 2 big things happened from September to December. So the first thing that happened, well, we were still kids, stupid, and one day everyone was playing this game called The Godfather. I didn't used to play it, like never, but that day I decided to play it, which I never did. Anyway, Achille was the Godfather, and everyone had to protect him from other people in our class. It was like a big brawl battle royale. Okay, it was during a break, obviously, and so there were like 20 people in one corner. He was against a wall, and somehow I was in front of him. There were so many people, and I was kinda struggling to keep balance. And everyone pushes each other. They push me, and I push him, and he hits his elbow into the wall. And I didn't think it was hurting, because the bell rang, and everyone went in class like nothing happened. He was on the floor, like smiling, kinda laughing, but holding his elbow. I didn't know, like I told him, come on bro, get up, we gotta go in. Then I also left, because I thought he was joking. Then after 5 minutes he comes up, infuriated with me, obviously, and he started to say, hey, look what you have done, you broke my elbow, look, it's swollen, it's broken, you broke it. And I said everything. I tried everything to protect myself, but half of the class was against me. Another half was supporting me, and the rest didn't even know what happened. The few people that were protecting me couldn't really do anything. I didn't obviously do it on purpose, but nobody cared. The history teacher started to scream at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? I kept saying I didn't want to do it. It was a mistake, but she did not care. It was probably Thursday or Wednesday, because then the school principal decided it was a good idea to not let us go out of the class during the break for 2 days. And people, one guy decided, now we're going to tell the principal to expel you. Okay bro, sure, because never mind. I was living a nightmare now. I felt so bad. I felt like the world was against me. Next day I came to school. Everyone still angry at me. Achille didn't want to talk to me, obviously. He was also angry. Next day, so Friday probably, I called my mom at some point to pick me up because I didn't want to stay at school anymore with all those people. It was still Friday, like evening, and the school called up saying something that I can't forget because it makes no damn sense. Your son has painted the school walls. Tuesday you have to meet up with the principal. What the fuck? I was so scared. I didn't know what the fuck was going on with my life. It was so chaotic. I had no words. I was so scared. Thursday comes and my father was there to see what they were talking about, and essentially they didn't put blame on me. Like, I don't even know why they called me. It makes no sense. And they were just talking about the fact that like the bathrooms were destroyed with holes through the doors. The walls of the corridor were sometimes painted, or there was like a footprint and stuff like that. They said like yeah, whoever has done this is a bad person. I didn't do anything. Like, what the hell would you call me? It makes no sense. The next day probably I was called to the principal's office. It was one-on-one with the principal. My father was already there, and I started to explain her like what the hell happened. She understood. She decided to call Achille. He comes, and we have a brief talk, and we shook hands to basically make peace. So when we came out of the office, he told me, I never said it was you, even though he did. Yeah, sure, okay bro, and we shook hands another time, became friends again. But we didn't, because obviously after something like this, life doesn't go back to normal. So after approximately a month, I was in the desk with a friend from elementary school, one of those guys. One day, was before school, waiting for the morning bell. This friend and Achille come to me and they say something that makes no sense. You copied our research on the paper. We had to make a research and a project regarding paper, like explaining the origin of paper. Pretty easy, right? What happens when you look up paper on Google? That you find what you're looking for. Well, they had a plan. It was to eliminate me. So they said that during the day of the exposition, they exposed before me, and they said, we saw you taking notes and copying our stuff, so we are not going to be friends with you anymore. We're going to change seat so that you will be alone, and me and Achille will be both sitting next to each other. Again, I was betrayed by my friends. One that was supposed to be my best friend, because at the times, well, a little bit before, Achille was my best friend. I spent days alone with nobody on my side, and it was bad. Don't even know how to craft rockets anymore because of how bad it was. That was probably the first time that I ever felt lonely. Actually lonely. It was so bad. I remember feeling the cold. After that, I really didn't feel like being his friend anymore. This is the start of my trust issues that are walking me down the streets for years, forever. I don't think I will ever recover from this, but probably it's for the better, because trusting anyone lightly is a bad thing to do. I never had any best friend after that. It took me like 2 to 3 years to actually make friends after those events. I haven't heard from Spruce since maybe 7 years, but he, for some reason, he's popular in my high school classroom. Apparently some people knew him, and they also hang out with him, so he's still alive. I mean, what are you supposed to learn from this video? I don't know. Don't trust everyone. It's better to trust no one. I hope you don't make my same mistakes, which the biggest was forgiving this guy multiple times. And bro, if your friends behave like a bully, they are a fucking bully and they suck. The only thing I want to do somehow reach out and apologize to the people that I hurt because of him. Oh my god, I almost forgot. In elementary school, it wasn't only that girl in particular getting bullied by him, it was another guy. He was such a great guy. He was a friend. He was a great friend. He wasn't a part of our trio, but after like the third year of elementary school, he moved near the center of the city, and I only met him during summer holidays because he used to go to the same beach I went with my family. Same thing as the girl, bullying and insults for no reason. But I didn't participate in this. He wasn't bad, wasn't mean to anyone. He was great. So the people that I want to apologize are definitely him, that girl, every other girl. Why do I feel sorry? I didn't do all the stuff. I was supporting it. Still, I feel the need to say sorry because I know he won't do it. Well, that's actually it for today. I will try to upload more frequently, and I'll see you in the next one.